Hey, I'm Randeep. Welcome back to my channel where I show you how to make easy Indian food at home from scratch. So please don't forget to subscribe. Today I'm going to show you how to make Gulab Jamun at home from scratch. These Gulab Jamun turn out juicy and flavorful every single time. Gulab Jamun are the favorite sweet for Indians and non-Indians alike, so why not learn how to make them at home? To make these Gulab Jamun, we start by making a simple syrup with just some sugar and some water. We want to melt the sugar and let it reduce just a little bit. You don't want this syrup to be too thick. And then to make the process of making the Gulab Jamun easy, we're using our food processor to make the dough. We're adding some paneer and Khoya or Mawa and some all-purpose flour. Khoya, like I told you last time, is milk that has been reduced until all the liquid has evaporated. So it's just the milk solids. So in the food processor, we've combined them together, and now I'm adding a little bit of milk at a time to make this crumbly mixture come together into a dough. Doing this by hand will be really difficult, so doing this in the food processor makes the whole process so much more easier. You can see here that the mixture is sticking together. It's really soft and smooth, and it's not sticky to my fingers, so that's exactly the consistency you want. Be sure to add the milk just a little bit at a time, just so that you don't over add too much milk and make this mixture too sticky and liquidy. Here I just kind of pressed the mixture together so that it all comes together into a dough, and then I've covered it with a wet paper towel to make sure it doesn't dry out. Our simple syrup is starting to look like it's getting ready, so once the sugar has dissolved, I'm going to add some cardamom to it just to give it a little flavor. I will strain out the cardamom once the syrup is finished. And when it starts bubbling, I also add some lemon or lime juice just to make sure that the syrup doesn't crystallize after it cools down. Alright, so to cook our Gulab Jamun, we need some ghee or oil. Usually this is cooked in ghee. And then we take our dough, make sure that it's not dried out on the outside, and form it into balls. Make sure that the balls are really smooth, there's no cracks in there. The cracks might separate in the oil when they're cooking, and then you have a really big mess on your hands in the oil. And try to get all of the balls to be about the same size, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And don't forget to keep them covered with the wet paper towel or cloth. Alright, so really quick tip for cooking the Gulab Jamun, you want to make sure that the oil or ghee is on a low or a medium-low flame. As you can see, the bottoms of the Gulab Jamun have turned a little brown here. That shouldn't happen. That probably means my oil was a little too hot. So keep it on a low flame because you want the Gulab Jamun to cook all the way through, and then slowly keep turning the Gulab Jamun, keep mixing them around so that they don't settle on one side and turn brown only on one side. And eventually they'll start looking like this. This took about 6 to 8 minutes for me, and doing it slowly ensures that everything is cooked all the way through on the inside, and moving them around in the oil ensures that they turn brown evenly on all sides. Once they become this beautiful brown color, that's when we know that they are ready to be taken out and put into the strained simple syrup. So remember, the syrup should not be too thick. Once the sugar is dissolved, you only want to boil it for maybe 5 to 6 more minutes until the cardamom flavor infuses with the syrup, and then you can strain it, and then we can add our Gulab Jamun to it. Make sure that you add the Gulab Jamun right out of the hot oil and make sure that the syrup is still warm. That will help the syrup get soaked into the gulab jamun very, very nicely. If either one of the two things is cold, it's going to be harder for the syrup to soak in, and you might get gulab jamun that are soft and juicy on the outside, but the center is going to be hard as a rock, so you don't want that. Also, you want to make sure that you have a large enough container here. This was getting a little too crowded, so I moved the gulab jamun into 2 separate containers. And you want to make sure that when you press down, the gulab jamun have enough liquid for them to be able to sink in all the way. After about half an hour, try kind of stirring them around so that different parts of the gulab jamun are soaking in the syrup. And you want to keep them soaked for at least 2 hours, if not overnight, to give them the best taste and flavor. See, that wasn't so hard. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you give this recipe a try. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you know when the new videos are up.